So if you were in prison, what would your prison name be?
Scared shitless.
I can't put that at the beginning. And we are live, folks. Welcome to the Sit Down Standards Kickstarter Preview. My name's David. I'm joined, as always, by my favorite board gamer, my wife, Alyssa.
Hello.
And today we're taking a look at the 2 to 6 player abstract strategy card game, Jailbreak, from Paper Street Comics. In this game, players are going to be competing as inmates trying to escape the high walls of the prison. But guess what? Everyone's got it out for you. The inmates don't want you to get out, as well as the guards are going to be watching you to make sure you don't get out of here. But before we determine if you make it out alive, let's talk about what's included in the game. Take it away, Alyssa.
All right. In this game, you're going to be getting different sets of cards. The first cards we're going to go over are the room cards.
Yep.
These are the cards that will put together the prison, and it's a 4x6 grid that you'll lay out, and it'll be random.
Yep.
Yes, and this is where the inmates will be moving along to collect resources and to eventually win the game. You'll also then be getting resource cards. These cards are tools, key cards, and blueprints.
Yep.
These are the 3 different resources each inmate needs to collect in order to then move to the blueprint destination and ultimately win the game. Mm-hmm. Lastly, you're going to be getting officer cards and jailbreak cards.
Yeah, and essentially the jailbreak and the officer cards kind of work in conjunction. Sometimes they help you, sometimes they hurt you. Mm-hmm. But each player is going to have a colored pawn, so each player gets a little meeple, as well as the officers will be meeples too. And then there's also dice included in the game. And
then your colored pawn depicts where you start. So there's 6 different pawn colors, and there's 6 different cells, and they're all different colors. So you have the red cell, the purple cell, the yellow cell, and that's where you start the game, is in your cell.
So yeah, now that we've kind of learned what's included, the way you play the game, it's pretty simple to actually play. Essentially, you randomly take the room cards that Alyssa talked about, and you lay them out. Now, what's actually nice about this game is you can set it up in the 4x6 grid, which is the standard way to play, but you can actually change it. You can have different orientations of the jail, and we've played a couple different ways. It actually makes it more difficult or more challenging because it pushes rooms further apart. Because one of the things you can do on your turn, let's first go over our turn. So when you do your turn, what's going to happen is first you're going to draw one of those jailbreak cards. Again, sometimes these are good things, like you'll get a shiv as a weapon, or maybe it might be a bad thing. A fight breaks out and you lose one of your items. So it's kind of a luck item there. Then you have 3 actions that you can take. You can either move, you can roll to gain one of those resource cards, because remember, you're going to need a key card, a blueprint, as well as a tool to get out of the prison.
But you first need to be on the room that gives you that resource.
Yeah, so you first move to, for instance, the warden's office has the blueprints, which makes sense thematically. He should just get rid of those. I mean, it's just a bad idea to keep him there. But you roll the dice. If you roll a 4, 5, or 6, then you are successful. And then once you collect all of those things, then you need to get to the end of the what's on your blueprint. You need to get there and do an escape roll, which again, if you roll a 4, 5, and 6, you successfully escape. Now that's kind of the basic part of the game, but there's a lot of interaction. Now, one thing you can additionally do on your turn is attack other players, which Alyssa loves to do to me.
Well, if you're tailing and you need to catch up, it's actually a really good way to hopefully knock them down for at least a couple turns.
And it's very thematic. Once you actually attack somebody, you can play weapon cards, like we talked about the shivs, which add additional pips to your dice roll. Whoever has the highest wins. And then whoever loses has to go to the infirmary and potentially lose some of their cards. So it's brutal. It does have a feeling of a prison feel to it. Now, after you've done your 3 actions, then you draw an officer card. And this essentially kind of starts moving those officers around the prison. Now, there's a couple restrictions. You can't move into certain areas of the prison unless you have certain things, or you can't, if a prison guard ends up in your area, then something bad happens. You get put in solitary confinement and you lose a card.
Right.
So inevitably what happens in this game is you will be in an area and you're just about to win. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and one of the guards moves into your room and you end up in solitary and you lose an important card.
It's the worst feeling. And then there's also mugshot cards, and at the beginning of the game, everyone's going to draw to see which inmate they are playing.
Yeah.
And it's really cute. Like, I drew the smuggler one time, so typically your hand to hold is 5 cards, but since he smuggles, that's his ability, I was always able to hold 6 cards with me.
Right.
Which was cool.
Yeah, and again, there's so much variability to this game. Not only does the prison itself change every single time, the mugshot cards change your special ability, and there's great cards in there that says prisons changed you. Grab a new mugshot shot. So it's very thematic. Everything kind of makes sense in the scheme of things. But it is very, I always talk about these games that are those boiling crab games. The idea that when one crab is almost about to get out of the boiling pot, everyone else, all the other crabs pull them down. That's what happens in this game. Other players try to attack you while you are just about, when you look like you're about to make it. So it's a very simple game to learn too.
I was surprised at the amount of times that we played that I was like, oh, next turn, I'm going to win. And then lo and behold, the officer card would come up and it would just happen just to mess with me enough to where I had to rethink my whole strategy.
Yeah, so it takes about 20 to 40 minutes to play, again, because of how much can change.
Yeah.
But some of those officer cards are good. There's one that says you have a cop crush or an officer crush, so she gives you a tool. So it's very, very thematic. It's a lot of fun to play. Again, right now they're on Kickstarter. What we'll do is we'll put a link right here. So if you click this link, this will take you to their Kickstarter page. They have about 9 days left on their current campaign. Right now you can pick up a copy for $25. That includes shipping in the US. Again, this game is one of those ones where you can almost play with anybody. And if you're a fan of any of those prison shows like Orange is the New Black or
Prison Break,
any of those TV shows, this is right up your alley. Simple game to learn, a lot of strategy even for how simple it is, and a lot of variability. So if this sounds like something you would like, definitely click the link, check it out. That's Jailbreak from Paper Street Comics. Until next time, bye.
see ya.